Hello my friends, thank you so much for being here. On this video, I'm gonna kind of ask you to just like mentally try to go there with me, okay? We're talking about drugstore products with a luxury feel, all right? It's not necessarily like a product for product dupe, although throughout this video as I do the application, I probably will be drawing some comparisons for certain things, but it's like products that either through their feel, through their application, a few of them, I tried not to judge a lot of books by their cover, but some of them, the look even seems more high-end. And then just the performance all day. You know, they've got something going for it that makes it seem kind of beyond drugstore, all right? Do we follow this concept? I felt like as I was coming up with it, I thought, do I even understand what this is about? But I just think it's going to be really fun and just sort of put us in that mindset of what drugstore products just seem to have leveled up, you know? So yeah, it's going to be a full face. And the first thing I'm going to put on is my Maybelline Perfector 4-in-1 Glow Makeup. This I wear in the shade Light. It can be a lot of different things. Some people wear this, put this on and add a little concealer and it's like a super light, sheer, glowy coverage product. I really like it as a primer. You could also put it on top of the skin like a highlight. It definitely does, you know, give me the thought of Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I see a lot of people like on TikTok starting out their entire look with Hollywood Flawless Filter all over their face. And when I use this, I really feel like I get a similar sheen on the skin. I've done a whole review on this, by the way, and talked about it much more in depth, but even just the process of putting this on, it just seems a little bit more expensive. I don't know, like the little dabber thing, I like that. And then the look of the skin is so like juicy and refreshed seeming, you know, once I get this all on. So glowy primer is on, and then I feel like I could have gone several different directions on foundations that make me feel more high-end. But one of them that's really putting itself in the ballpark of some of those different glowy, kind of medium coverage, natural look on the skin types of foundations. I'm thinking of the new one from Charlotte Tilbury, the Beautiful Skin, the new IT Cosmetics CC Nude Glow. I'm talking about this L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation. I wear it in cream beige, and I'm kind of having a rediscovered moment with this because I hadn't used it in a while. But recently I was like, oh yeah, this is so much like that type of stuff. And it's got a thinner consistency. Kind of does remind me of how that new IT Cosmetics is a little bit thinner, but it gives a beautiful look all over on the skin. I'm blending out with my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. And don't get me wrong, there is definitely coverage with this. It just has this more natural look. It's coverage with that beautiful radiance, okay? So I just love it. I think it's gorgeous, and I think it feels like something more high-end. There's just a bit of a richness about it, you know? This is practically one of those products where I feel like I could put the new IT Cosmetics on the other side of my face, and we would have a real, like, close situation here as far as how the finish of the skin looks. So I'm just getting that all blended out. This is a really good shade match for me, this color called Cream Beige. And yeah, the skin just feels even more dewy and hydrated, and to me that's always kind of a luxe feel. With concealer, again, it feels like kind of a product that I could have gone several different ways with, but I thought, you know, what really gives me a little bit more of a high-end feel just when I pull it out and I use it, the whole process of applying. And I think about the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum. It has its little pump. It almost makes me think of like a MAC Pro Longwear looking product here. And then I wear it in the shade Light. And I do feel like a little bit of this does go a long way, but it's kind of deceptive in how thin and lightweight it feels. So I get a little pump here, and it's gonna be plenty, but it's just so light, it makes you think you're gonna need a ton, but you really don't need that much. What I've got kind of pasted all over here, the under eye area, is a very lightweight, thin amount. And then I'm just gonna take that same brush that I've blended in my primer and my foundation with, and look, I'm just dabbing over that side, just a quick press in. And look at that, how nice. You know, these are just textures that seem a little more advanced, I guess I would say. That foundation didn't come out feeling like your traditional foundation. It was like, it had that lightness, but yet moisture infused, you know? That's kind of what I'm getting at here. And the NYX kind of does the same thing, manages to be thin, but yet really adds a little moisture and a little bit of glow to the skin. So see where we're at now? A really pretty kind of glowy surface of the skin. Skin does feel a little little bit tacky to the touch, so that's going to bring us to a powder step here. If you have not tried the Believe Beauty Loose Powder, it's been a little while since I've raved on this one, but this is such a fine, delicate powder. I just have it in the shade Translucent. It's called Matte Blur Loose Powder, and it is so, so fine. Like the way it just kind of pours from the holes. You know, you've seen those powders where it's just like, are you practically liquid, you know? Just so incredibly fine. So I'm going to pick some of that up. A lot has shaken out of the holes. That's one thing. Packaging wise, it's a little hard to control, but it just seems so like above and beyond its arena. You know, I find this at Dollar General. It seems much more expensive than that. Really nice formula, and you can put it on your under eye. You can kind of take care of any tacky texture there and yet not look cakey at all. It's so fine. And I'm going to hit my whole T-zone with this. And I do think it has kind of a blurring effect as I look at my nose. But just watch out, because you could absolutely like breathe it in. It could go airborne a little bit. It's very, very light and fine. See, beautiful. I still feel like the skin has a little bit of a glow, but now I've gone over it and I've just kind of altered the texture a little bit here and there. And then a great product for doing that, and I have talked about this one quite a bit more recently, the NYX No Filter Finishing Powder. I wear this in porcelain, and it's so good for going all over the skin and behaving kind of like an hourglass powder. You know, it is able to set your skin, but actually has just the slightest bit of a glow in it. It's like a baked formula product, and I think it seems so much more luxurious. It's so soft. It seems like it could pass for something much more expensive than it is, you know? So I'm just using my BK Beauty 107 brush here, and I am going to take that all over like the rest of the skin. So down here on the cheeks, even letting it come up and sort of merge with where I did the Believe Beauty stuff. I just think this is so nice. And if you're thinking about like seeing this and it brings the Kosas Cloud Set to your mind, this is more glowy than that. Okay, I don't think those two, while they look the same, they're not really comparable products in terms of what they do on the skin. Cloud Set is more matte. This definitely has a glow. There are times when I will, if I'm using the Cloud Set, that will be what I use on under eye and T-zone, and then this is kind of the thing that can handle the whole rest of the face without looking cakey, without looking dry. Helps kind of regulate the texture without taking away the glow. So I love that. No filter. I find it, what was the situation with this? I couldn't go back and find it on Ulta's website, but I find it at Target. So many concepts in this video, like so many different products getting pulled back into my mind as I brainstormed and looked through absolutely everything I had when I was coming up with what I would talk about in this video. And this e.l.f. Cream Contour Palette, I feel like cream contour, cream blushes, that whole texture is just really hot right now. And this cream contour palette really can hang with some of the higher end options. It's a small little wardrobe here of shades. You do even have a light shade if you really wanted to work that practically as concealer, but then 3 different tones of this contour. And I'm going to go down here to this shade, and I'm just going to dab it around. I know this is the deeper of the 3, but that's why I'm putting it up here on my forehead. And I'm going to use my Sephora 56 to work that in, and I want you to see the ease that I do have working with that. I mean, it's really good, you guys. And just the tones in here, they're all workable. They're all an option for me. Look at that beautiful natural contour there. And then maybe I'll go just a little hint lighter with the other shade, and we'll work some of that on the hollow of the cheek area. Not trying to go too low though, a little bit up. And just the ease with which this can blend into the skin, like that's what makes it feel expensive, okay? Because that's what I associate with like M Cosmetics or Huda, that ability to take a cream bronzer and just really easily mesh it in with the skin, and that's what this allows. And plus the sort of palette idea, I think that makes it seem a bit more luxurious as well, those color options that you have at your fingertips. And we can even get a little bit on our brush and just hit this jawline area too. Sides of nose. This is a really easy brush for sides of the nose, by the way. I'm not a big nose contour person because like I have a little bone that right up into here and here, if I really get shadow to it, it makes my nose look like bumpy. So you just kind of got to know what works for you and what doesn't. But this is just a really neat little product, and I'm enjoying rediscovering that. As I looked at my blush drawer, guys, I felt kind of inundated with products that I felt were drugstore but gave me more of a luxury feel. But one in particular that stood out to me reminded me of the wonderful high-end baked blushes of brands like Laura Geller or Hourglass, and it's from Found, and it's called the Baked Illuminating Blush. I know I've talked about these before. This is the pink glow one, and I feel like this is going to give us just this beautiful kind of baby cheek look, a little bit of a glow, and it's just gorgeous to look at. Like, you open that up and you just feel this like luxuriousness. Swirls, does that not make anyone else feel like a luxury indicator? You know, like, okay, it's got these beautiful baked swirls. Something intense had to happen to make that go. Look how pretty this is. It's pigment, but it's also glow, you guys. Oh, I love it. Love. So pretty and fresh. What a great spring blush. I was just in Walmart the other day and I was looking at the Found section and I was so disappointed, and it probably varies store to store, but our store just had a few like dwindling products. Well, more than a few, but there were like just big gaps. It looked like a very unfinished kind of section in the store. And once upon a time I did a whole Found video and I actually ordered stuff from their website. It's a very high quality brand and they have several gorgeous blushes. They have one that's a little bit more like berry tone, but look at that, and the sheen almost makes the cheeks look like they've been airbrushed, you know. Oh, I love that. For highlighter, I just think the entire aesthetic of the item, like picking it up, holding it, the weight of the product, the size of the product, the composition of what's inside, like it all makes me think kind of a luxurious feel. And it's the Undone Beauty Nonzer 4-in-1 highlighting palette. Like, this is a substantial guy here, okay? It's big, it's loaded with product, and the product inside really is impactful. You know, you've got all these different tones. You could settle in on one. You could kind of bop around and blend them all together. It's a gorgeous highlight, but the whole product just makes me think more luxurious than what I actually paid for it. So this is a brand available at Ulta. I bopped around to everything, and now I'm going to give it a buff into the skin with my Real Techniques setting brush here. Look at that. I mean, it's intense. It can be. Boop, 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 and then go for it. It's just kind of a surprise. What will I end up with now? But you know what I mean? Sometimes weight of a product, sometimes size of a product, that kind of alters our perception of, is it drugstore, is it high end? Cheap things feel more light and just a little less substantial, and sometimes things that feel more luxurious, it can be a weight factor too. Okay, I'm getting a little bit on my finger, just going over this area here. Cupid's bow. Look, we're glowy, we're just fabulous. I mean, I might be even a little more glowy than I want to be, but that's all correctable, gang, because remember our little Believe Beauty powder? Everything's like just teetering on the edge of this table. I need to clean up. Easter weekend did not allow me much time to clean up. I'm taking a little bit of my Believe Beauty blur powder. Look what that did to that glow. It made it absolutely from a little bit loud to just nice and soft. Isn't that like magical and nice? Ew, I didn't pick a setting spray. Here's a long time fave. I'm probably going to run out of this at some point in the near future, but it's the e.l.f. Hydrating Coconut Mist. Spa-like vibes, beautiful, light scent, realistic scent. Think Too Faced Hangover Mist, but better, okay? So I'm gonna put some of that on today. Fine mist, very fine mist. Like, how are you doing that? Cloud-like, but not so light that you wonder if it's touched your face. It's definitely there. Smells so good. Really nice stuff. Now, for eyebrows, I was kind of thinking, what product makes me feel luxe about eyebrows? And I do think a pomade style product kind of does. Just the act of going there with your brows, it makes it feel like a bit more of a professional process. I don't know. And sorry, by the way, my hair is still just a little bit damp from my shower yesterday, so if it's looking stringy and borderline wet. It is. But I thought about my Maybelline Tattoo Studio and how it's coming out of this nice little glass container. It applies with a brush. Staying power wise, it can totally hang with anything. Literally anything I would put up against this. I would probably wear this all day in a pool and still have it on my eyebrows. Like, it's so good. It's a quality thing, and it's kind of like a process thing where it makes me feel a little bit more luxurious about the whole deal. So I'm just taking my little angled brush. You don't want to get too much on your brush at one time. This is the shade Ash Brown, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Nice ash. And we just take it through the brow real easy and use that spoolie. The spoolie is your friend with a pomade for sure. How nice. And I'm getting some hold in my brows too. When you're doing something, especially like with a product where over application is kind of a risk, never start right here. That you want your inner part to stay a little bit softer. So start that product kind of in the middle of the brow where you're expecting and wanting a little more dense look, you know? Start there and then let it fade toward the front when you've got less on your brush. We say it all the time, but the first place the brush hits is where the most product goes. So it goes for almost every step of what you do. And I have loved this product so much, and it's stayed good for me for so long. These products that are in pots, you know, I've seen so many eyeliners packaged this way over the years that come and go and just cannot stay juicy. And as you can see, I'm having a really easy time getting this put on today. Beautiful. Happy with that fill-in for sure. And then I grabbed out another thing that I thought, you know I've used it in a video before, but I'm not sure how many of you caught it. But this is more of like a trendy product, the e.l.f. Brow Lift. I know ABH has something like this where it's like a jelly, okay? But a really stiff kind of product, and you actually put your little brush in. They have a specific brush that goes with it, and you can like pull your brow hairs up. My brow hairs are probably due for a little bit of a trim sometime soon, so I'm not going to go extreme with this. And then there's this flat side that you can take over it. So if you were ever thinking you had to like spend high-end money on that little process, you can actually get it from e.l.f. And it does hold. I mean, it does feel like something's really happening there. I'm just not wanting too dramatic of a look with that because my brows can look very, very bushy with the process, but I just wanted to show you. See, I'm just doing it lightly, a light dip into that. It looks like a jelly, but it definitely has some stiff hold. This process wouldn't work if it didn't have some hold. And just brush it on through, and then you kind of press it down. For eyes, we are absolutely starting with Milani eyeshadow primer. Yeah, I mean, it's a common little looking tube. It's a humble seeming product, but I don't want them to change a thing. It's what's inside that makes my shadow last all day, makes product cling, makes it perform every bit as well, if not better, than the primer potions and shadow insurances of the world. So yes, I love it. I will continue to always love it. A couple things came to mind eyeshadow wise. I looked through like my smaller quads and things like that, and there's a difference here between what could dupe something and what just in itself feels luxurious, because I definitely have some quads that like don't look like much, don't feel like much, but yet they could create a very high-end look. But something that feels above and beyond drugstore, the Milani Most Loved Mattes, the Ungilded palette. Okay, there's a weight to the palette, there's a nice mirror in this palette, and it has these 12 shades that are 12 for 12 amazing mattes. So I love this. It will for sure give you like a professional kind of look. The blending is such an easy process. The colors are fun to layer one on top of the next, and because they're all the same texture, it's just like, it's extra fun, you know? And going into the pans, knowing that it's just a small tap in, like that's the vibe of an expensive kind of eyeshadow to me. I love that. Another thing came to mind, but given the expense of the palette, like I think Colourpop is drugstore, but then there are certain things you could buy, like this big old palette. It's like $30-some, so I thought I might get some pushback on that, you know, but this Bare Necessities one, I was looking through everything yesterday, and I thought, yeah, you know, the layers of color here, the murky kind of dusty shades that we are seeing turn up in so many high-end palettes these days, the really smooth metallic quality of most of the shimmers in here, the range going from light to completely black, like this has a lot of kind of, I don't know, high-end vibes in it too. I'm not going to use it today, but I did think it was worth talking about. You know, this is what I'm going to use because this is my ultimate winner, I think, in terms of an expensive feeling palette. So let's see, I'm going to go over here to salty caramel. A little bit of that warm brown up in the corner. Guys, the ease of blending that you're gonna witness here, it's unmatched. Like, it's so good. Just taking my normal Profusion crease brush there, getting it all in. And by the way, in case you didn't know, I do link to every product I use in a tutorial down in the show more section, or what I've always called the info box below the video. But I also link to every brush that I use. For eyes, I try to identify each step that it was used for in case I didn't make it clear as I was, you know, narrating myself here. That's great, that little salty caramel shade. Let's go down here to Umber the Sun. This is a little bit richer. Take that and work that up into the crease as well. Little more warmth, little more intensity. This is another palette where Milani could stand to maybe put it out in another color family entirely. What about a palette of rich jewel tones? I'm talking all matte. What about an all matte palette of cooler tones? Because this one definitely veers warm. There's that. And now this shade down here, this No Plum Intended. This has a little bit of, you know, the rosy vibe going on. It doesn't, like, we're kind of practically layering it into those browns, so it's not going to show a whole lot at this point, but I'm just kind of like playing. I want a little darkness now on my lid. I'm going to Cocoa Bean right down here, patting it on. I mean, just there's such a smoothness, and if you do keep a minimal amount that you're picking up on your brush, you know, just one dab into the palette, you're not going to be fussing with fallout. It's just a classy product, you guys. Classy, classy product, Milani. Cocoa Bean, this nice dark kind of neutral brown, patting it on. And then taking my small pointed brush from Profusion, going to Don't Raisin Your Voice. Hey, we didn't say anything about the shade names being a little tacky, but this is kind of like our little merging shade. Merging that brown with the warmer kind of caramely colors that we first put in the crease. Take a shade that's like a little bit of an in-betweener and use it with a small brush, and it kind of like makes everything really mesh. Are we loving it? It's so toasty and nice. Ooh, we might want to think of like a highlight shade. This is my Profusion ES3, which is a little bit fuller, more like a blending brush, not pinched in at the ferrule like the other one. I'm going to go my Daily Latte right here. Now that I'm kind of done with that area, just let that come around and it sort of blurs out any rogue rough edges you might have had. Really neat. And then with all this warm brown, what if we took a little bit of a pinky tone shade here, Busta Mauve right here, and let that be our nice kind of brightening color right in here. I love that. It's not screaming pink at you by any means, but it's just, you know, a little different than what I might normally think to do. Just patting it on. Everything is so smooth, so blended, but not really because I've got some masterful technique, but because these shades are easy to work with small quantities of the product. Just tapping in, applying it, it's so easy. I might go a little darker in my crease. I might take a little Cinnamon Spice. Oh, that's one of my favorite shades right down here. Dark warm brown, and then this is the dark cooler brown. But Cinnamon Spice. I'm letting my look come out, like radiate slightly, but not super far. Oops, I got the wrong shade. Luxury quality, drugstore prices, yes. I'll do that Cinnamon Spice as well down in here. Just let it kind of come around for a soft lower liner. Oh, the ease, y'all, the ease. Beautiful fades and colors there. Here's an eyeliner from the drugstore that I think feels very high-end for a number of reasons. It's the NYX Epic Ink Liner Pen. Number one, we're talking about a brush tip applicator here. Instantly, we've leveled up from felt tip, from the inkwell design. We have that ease of the pen, and there are so many high-end ones that I can think of that do this well, you know, like M Cosmetics, for example, but you don't have to spend that kind of money on it. So we've got that, but also the intensity with one stroke, because sometimes lower cost eyeliners and even high-end ones can be guilty of this too. Not being able to take one brush stroke across something and it looks too thin and watery. This does not. So you get opaque black color, and then the third thing that it does so well is that it just simply stays. Wears a long time. For sure the type of product that seems like it's doing the work well beyond its price tag. Now for mascara, when we're talking something luxurious, I think a lot of times in our minds, the weight of something connects us to the thought of it being more expensive. And this mascara right here, it's so funny because this came from Aldi, but it feels so luxurious. It feels exactly like a tube of Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and the brush is just like it, but it builds so well. It holds curl better than that. It's got that hourglass shaped brush, and it's like just such a high quality product, and it baffles me that this came from Aldi. And I wish they would carry this stuff more consistently, because this mascara called Lacura, They're Brilliant, is so good, and it totally fools you on the feel. You know, it's a simple packaging design. That's another thing. You know, it's not gaudy in any way, but it's just heavy. And then the whole performance of the product is not only comparable to a high-end alternative, but it's better. So yeah, they're really winning with this thing. This is one of those video concepts where I'm thinking, I hope you guys follow me. I hope you get the thought process that I'm going through with this. Oh, this is such a nice mascara. If I had my choices, you know, I know what they're trying to dupe with it, so that's kind of the way they had to go, I guess. But if the brush could be a little smaller, that would be amazing. Keep the same formula, but just make it a little bit smaller. Really does hold my curl and really builds nicely on itself. I mean, look at that. I'm getting some nice thickness. My curl is not being affected by this at all. What are you guys thinking about Idol this season? Oh my gosh, so many good people on the show. I couldn't believe, like, I didn't know how they were going to cut it down, but they did, and I actually think they got a really good top group. I really should put Bub on a live stream while we're watching that, because he has so many thoughts and opinions. Like, you've never heard him talk so much as when we watch American Idol. I need to come back to this eye for like another coat, but I'm just loving the look, and I think I'm going to do a little mascara on the bottom. I'm going to cheat for a second and pull in my Cali Ray just because I know it won't smudge. And you know, your girl's working hard all day, not wanting anything to smudge off. Really not in a mode where I'll touch up much of anything besides a lip color throughout the whole rest of the day. I expect a lot out of my products, and that includes, you know, not wanting to see smudges on the under eye. And I'm not saying the Lacura one would be terribly smudgy, but there are some things you just don't take chances with. Building really well. Okay, we've got to move on to lip colors, gang. And something that makes me think luxury in the way of lip colors is not like your classic, typical texture, okay? Going out on a limb a little bit, reaching for something a little bit different. That can give me kind of a high-end message, you know? And something that I think does this really well are these Blotted Lips from Colourpop. If you're really curious about these, I reviewed them more in depth in my video where I also reviewed the all matte palette from Colourpop. These are called Blotted Lips, and my favorite three shades are the ones called Shook, Missin' You, and Talker. But they're so like beautiful going on the lips. I'm going to do Missin' You. This is kind of a toasty shade, and it reminds me of what's happening on the eyes. But they're like thin and light and matte, but yet moisturizing too. And they give you this effortless kind of look on the lips. Like, oh, maybe I just have a stain on. Maybe my lips are just naturally beautiful. I also have some dry skin. Let's just get rid of that. But look at this like light, pillowy look. Yet I feel like I have some moisture there, y'all. And they're kind of buildable too. Oh, they're so nice. They even have a nice little sweet scent. It makes me think of like caramel coffee creamer or something. We love that. I love the pillowy look to the lips. It's almost a look of fullness just by way of evenness, you know? And sometimes when I think of high-end makeup, I think of something that takes it in a little different direction, a little different feeling formula. This to me feels luxurious not by way of simply being thick, but by being different, you know, by just being a very fine product. You know, it's thin, it's doing exactly what it wants to do. The blotted lip is the perfect description. So I love that. I wonder if I could even take a little bit of Shook and kind of work it in too. Layer it up. Shook gives a little more pinkiness. Even though you're probably looking at that and thinking Clinique Black Honey, it's not Black Honey. Honey. They're so fun. I really love that whole range. And, you know, while I could stay here, I could stay in this place very happily, I do want to mention a gloss as well. And size, okay? Size and weight, we've discussed it all video on and off. The Lifter Gloss from Maybelline. Okay, this is all the larger that gloss is, but look at how much they've packaged around that to make that feel bigger in the hand and make us feel more like we're grabbing a Fenty gloss, you know? It is successful, I think, in pulling off a higher end vibe there. But this shade called Pearl, I really like this, and I've been trying to really respect my gloss, and since it is, you know, so clear and it could become so tainted by colors that it's pulling off of your lip, when you're going over lipstick, I get some off on my finger, and it is like, it can be so next level shiny. This is the shade you need to be picking up in this product. And also, not applying off the applicator, I don't get over gooped. So it doesn't feel annoying at all. But you just get all that pretty shine. Ooh. But because it's pearly, it's like up a notch shine. Definitely makes you think of a Fenty Gloss Bomb. Hair down. So friends, have I made my case for these drugstore products that I feel really can pull off the high-end look, the high-end feel, the high-end experience of application? I think they're all kind of a level up from what you might expect, and I enjoy my look so much. I feel like I have really glowy skin given like the blush and the highlight that we put on top of some already more glowy, dewy looking foundation products, and I'm loving it. I feel vibrant and refreshed and ready for the day. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I would love to hear any products that come to mind under this heading, you know, that I haven't thought of. Feel free to drop those in the comments section and we can all discuss. So thank you so much, everyone. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.